Hello, it's Sunday, December 31st, 2017, and as of this recording, I'm still depressed, but I'm not dead. Hey everybody, welcome back to the last podcast episode of the year. It's been a weird month for me this month, so this will be just the second show in the month of December. Hopefully one of my New Year's resolutions will be to remedy that some way so I can not fall into that same kind of twice a month kind of thing. Like I've mentioned before, I'd really like to have this come out once every week, maybe once every, 8 to 10 days at the latest. Hopefully I can do a little something to get a little bit more regular. So before we get into the show, let me remind you how you can get a hold of me. You can email me, jamoalki@gmail.com, facebook.com/jamoalki, @jamoalki on Twitter, www.jamoalki.info, that's JAMOALKI, or you can text me at 248-648-1419. I've got quite a few communications going back and forth, and I enjoy it. I love it when I get an email notification or a text notification. You get to hear how some of you guys are doing, what you think of the show. So if you haven't reached out already, please go ahead and do so. I'd love to hear from you. And with that out of the way, let's get on with the show. As seems to be the case lately, this show might be a little rambly. I don't really have anything planned out that I wish to talk about. Really, I just wanted to get another show out in December so that you guys wouldn't think that I'm ignoring you or, that the show is really fallen off or out of favor or whatever. I'll talk a little bit about the past month, what I've been doing, what I've been feeling. Talk a little bit about New Year's resolutions, maybe some changes for the show coming up in the new year. And whatever. Yeah. So the past week, I have been in Michigan visiting my folks, my girls, my friend Dave. It's been a good time. It was a pretty good time getting to see everybody. Getting to see my girls is always fantastic. Managed to get there midday on Christmas Day. After some hellacious driving in northern Michigan, there was substantial lake effect snow, blowing snow. Even though the roads weren't very crowded or there wasn't much traffic at all, it was slow going, in the 40 mile an hour or so, down to 25 at times. Intended to get there about a little before noon, got there right around 2, I think I have that right. But got to see the girls, open up their presents, get them to open up their presents from Minnesota. My folks weren't able to make it up like they had planned, but it was still a good time. My ex-wife made a wonderful, delicious dinner that we all got to take part in, and just be around my girls. It was a good time. Then, I stayed with my folks most of the nights there, that's when I'm around my folks, that's when I tend to really extra hard, have a hard time communicating and talking. There's quite a bit going on there. Typical, parent offspring kind of tension, I guess. I always feel like a kid again when I'm around them. Like I have to put my best foot forward, kind of. I don't know. But basically it's tricky for me to talk with them. And it's when I really feel my avoidant personality disorder kicking in. It's an overdrive really around them. In general, as I'm talking with someone, the feeling that they're going to see me for who I am, that they're going to decide, oh, they don't want to have any kind of relationship with me because of who I am. I feel like that's getting stronger and stronger the more I talk to them. And because of that, I preempt conversations and I end them pretty short. With my folks, that's kind of an overdrive. And I feel like if I tell them any negative thing or anything that's not tried to spin to a positive, even if it was positive to begin with, I just feel like they're going to judge me for that and be disappointed in me in that. And I need to stress that this is not because of who they are that I'm aware of. It's not because of how they raised me that I'm aware of. It's all in my own construction in my head that I feel like I need to impress them and make them not be disappointed in me, even though I really don't know what I have for them to be disappointed in. I just have that feeling like, okay, I can't say that driving was difficult because then they'll think I don't know how to drive. I can't say that, work is boring because then they'll think that I don't like to work, that I don't like to earn money, all that kind of stuff. So, basically, I'd avoided a lot of conversation with my folks. I got there Christmas night after I'd seen the girls and all. And, I was genuinely tired, but I overplayed it a little bit more so I could go to sleep. I found myself sleeping later in the morning, and it's something I hadn't realized till I was talking with Nora, and she kind of half jokingly, half seriously said that, so you sleep late more when you don't want to go downstairs and interact with your mom and dad. And I think there's some truth to that I applied myself a little bit more into rolling over and going back to sleep. So whereas in general I'm up by 6 o'clock here, I was sleeping till 8:30 or so there, which even with the 1 hour time change, which isn't really anything, that's still 7:30 Central Time. So I did manage to sleep later each day that I stayed with them. And I'll get to that in a second. So I got to see a friend of mine, Sam, from Home Depot, and it's always nice to see her and catch up with her. We had lunch. Dave and I had dinner one night. One night I stayed up closer to the girls rather than down by my folks because I just didn't want to interact with my folks for another morning situation. And secondary, which was the reason I gave more, was that, I just wanted to minimize some of that driving. It's an hour and a half or so from my folks to my girls. And, in general, that's not a big deal, but, doing that twice a day, so 3 hours driving every day on, bookended by 12-hour drives to get to Michigan. It was just getting a little much. So I stayed in a cheapo kind of hotel right up by where the girls are. Only told my folks I was staying there. Didn't want to tell my girls. Didn't want to get into a situation where, in the past they've accused their mom of not letting me stay there and being mean, which, as adults we know that isn't the case. That it's just weird to have your ex-husband staying in your house. So I didn't tell my girls that I was staying in the hotel because then they get into, oh, why don't you just stay here? And oh, because mom won't let him and blah, blah, blah. And that just wasn't the point. So I stayed in this little hotel and was in bed and asleep by, I don't know, 9:30, maybe 10 o'clock. And because I didn't have, I assume I didn't have the ominous dealings of going downstairs and interacting with my folks before I had my morning soda, I was up at 6 again and really restless, couldn't fall back asleep, tossed and turned, checked out my phone, tossed and turned. Finally got out of bed at about 7, a little after 7, I guess, and just got ready for my day. So, probably adding a little more truth to the fact that I was avoiding my folks to some extent. And so if it's someday in the future and mom and dad have found the show, then sorry about that. Don't take it personally. It's not you guys. It's not you. It's me. And it couldn't be any more accurate. So like I said, got to see my friend Dave and listen to him talk about all the stuff that's going on with him and things that are going on in his head, and how like I said before, he's terribly smart, and I enjoy listening to the things that he has to say. So that was a good time. Exchanged Christmas gifts with him. And then, packed up and started heading home. I got back in town yesterday, about 11 a.m., and it's always nice to be back home with Nora. And, so that's my last week. A little more, laundry style conversation here. And so here we are with the new year upon us, and as with every other new year, minus 2014 and 2015, it's time for me to reflect, look forward, and think about those New Year's resolutions. It's well documented how poor my memory is, so the reflecting part of the year gone by is usually pretty short and easy, as I don't remember specifics about much. I started my job this past year, which on the one side has given me structure and routine, and that's probably helped me out considerably. On the other side, it brings me boredom, and I don't know, it doesn't bring me any sense of accomplishment all too often. But I guess that's not where I'm supposed to be just yet. So, one day we'll get to that job where I feel accomplished. And then, the podcast has taken off a bit this past year, which I really like. I'd like it to be bigger and more far-reaching. And I'm counting on you guys there for that, to spread the word, share the show, rate the show, leave comments on the show. Wherever you get your podcasts from, that would be great. And, I guess, 2017 was a better year than 2016, which was a better year than 2015. So, more and more overall, I guess, it was a good year. So that brings us to the new year coming. And I messaged a few folks today asking them about their resolutions, if they have any. I got one listener who said she's going to try to not let her anxiety keep her from doing things, which is fabulous and great for you. I'm proud of you. You know who you are. Another friend of the show said that they're going to try to not, or try to be nicer to themselves, which I kind of took on as something I'm going to try to do. I'm going to maybe incorporate that into the show a little bit. And, I've talked about this before, how I'm not nice to myself. I hate myself. I loathe myself. I disparage anything that I do. Small mistakes become huge mistakes. Big mistakes are, life-changing, life-altering, defeating things. So I'm going to try to not do that so much. Try to be nicer to myself. Maybe it's going to come down to just catching myself from beating myself up, and at least stopping that, not necessarily pumping myself up as much, but not beating myself down as much. And I thought that'd be something I could do on the show every now and then and say, hey, this happened and this was my reaction. And ooh, boy, I did my best to not call myself the biggest freaking jackass in the world. So yeah, we'll see. There's that. I want to try to be nicer to myself. I would like to cut down on my soda intake. I do drink a lot of diet soda, 200 ounces or more easily. Days when I work, I start out my day with 44 ounce, and by my second store, I've got another 44 ounce. If I'm working at a Hy-Vee, which has their own gas station that has my caffeine-free diet soda, I get a 52 ounce, and then another one, and then one for the ride home. And that's 5 40 plus, and then usually whatever we have in the house, I will drink that. So easily over 200 ounces. Well, it is diet. It is caffeine free. Just seems like I could switch that up to water, just straight water, ice cold, nice refreshing water. So we'll see what I can do about that. And the usual kind of yada yada, lose weight, get more fit. I want to come up with one for my avoidant personality disorder, but I don't have that just yet. So maybe next show I'll have something for that, and I can put it out there into the internet for some amount of accountability. Yeah, so maybe kind of generic resolutions, and I reserve the right to not start my resolutions for at least a week or two into the new year, because heck, the new year is kind of an arbitrary time to start new habits or try to change old habits. It feels nice. It's the kind of end of a year into a new year, but can you do that at the end of a week into a new week, or the end of Tuesday into Wednesday? Why not? That's just as apt a place to start. And so yeah, I'm going to think about it, and I'll fill you guys in and what else I come up with as far as New Year's resolutions. Let me throw it out to you guys. What are you doing? Are you doing anything as far as resolving to do something new or stop doing something old? Send me a comment, send me an email, hit me up on Twitter, let me know. I'm curious to know what you guys, my listeners, have in mind as far as how to make 2018 better than 2017. So yeah, at jamoalki on Twitter, facebook.com/jamoalki, email jamoalki@gmail.com, whatever. And I mentioned there might be some changes coming to the show. Nothing grand. I know I get a lot of feedback, not a lot, but some feedback when I have guests on the show that it's not the same vibe, and a lot of you just like listening to me talk to you. But I think there's value in having guests on the show, and I think what I need to try to do is try to get something, when I have someone on, maybe get someone more like me and less like more accomplished guests that I've had. Someone who's willing to just tell their story and offer up some nuggets of wisdom or anything. Someone who might be able to explain their story similar to the way I talk to you guys, and hopefully you can get something out of that. I want to try to do something with the music a little bit. I realized I'm coming up on 70 podcast episodes with the same music, and maybe there's too much. Maybe having an intro and an interlude is a little too much, so maybe just change that format so there's less music, more talking. So I don't know if that'll be just cutting out one or making up some new piece of music or digging up something old. I don't know, just something to I don't know, it just seemed like to me it could get boring listening to that same thing. As I've binge listening to the Unhinged podcast on my drives, and they have kind of the same music to open, and it's much shorter than mine, and I realized that I don't like hearing that so much. Maybe, but I guess if you're not binge listening, and I don't know. Yeah, send me some feedback on that. What do you guys think? It's a show that I put out, but it's a show that I want to be engaging and interesting for all of you out there. Yeah, I think that might be all I have for today. Let me know about your resolutions. If you're doing some, if you're not doing some, maybe why or why not. Let me know what you think about ideas for the show coming up in this new year. I still would love to have some topics sent in from you guys, or maybe, hey, I really liked it when you did this. Can you do more of that? Because one of the things that's been going on lately is I have been feeling a little bit better. And along with that feeling a little bit better is that I'm less likely to want to talk about some of the struggles that I'm having, because I do self-stigmatize, and as I'm feeling a little bit better, the idea of talking about something maybe small or not huge, I guess, not expanse, talking about that just seems so trivial and unimportant, and why are you wasting your time worrying about those things? So as I feel a little bit better, I feel less likely to share with you guys. And, I don't know that I'm continuing to feel a little bit better. I hope so. But you never know. But along with that, I could use your guys' help. I could use ideas, thoughts, opinions, questions, comments, concerns. So hit me up on all those different ways I talked about. Send me a text, 248-648-1419. Let me know what you think. And so until next year, you guys all be safe and be well. Thanks.